Hey everyone, this is Mr. Baird. I'm bringing you ratios, rates, and proportions and how they might show up on the SAT. So here's your first question. It says, a recipe for 2 cups of sauce requires half a cup of water, half a cup of vinegar, and 1 cup of soy sauce. How many cups of vinegar are required to make 12 cups of sauce? Is it 3, 6, 12, or 24 cups? I'll give you a little bit of time. I'll reread the question, and then we will talk about it after a minute and a half. So this is a recipe for 2 cups of sauce, requires half a cup of water, half a cup of vinegar, and a cup of soy sauce. How many cups of vinegar are required to make 12 cups of sauce? Okay. So in this question, the total is 2 cups of sauce, and that's being made up of half a cup of water, half a cup of vinegar, and half a cup of soy sauce. So if you wanted to, you can think of this as 2 cups of sauce, and half of it is soy sauce, and of the remaining half of it's water, and half of it's vinegar. So you do like a visual for this if you wanted to. But I want to teach you a way to do it that might be more useful for more problems. They talk about vinegar. So we definitely want to reference vinegar in our ratio. And we want to know how many parts is it to the whole. So it appears that if we take half a cup of vinegar, we get 2 cups of sauce. Well, in a ratio like this, what it means is we can multiply each side by the same number or divide. So I want to multiply by 2 just for a second to show you what I mean. And you can get another ratio that describes the same scenario, but just uses different numbers. Okay. So what are we shooting for here? It looks like 1 cup of vinegar will go with 4 cups of sauce. But what are we ultimately after? The 12 cups of sauce. So we kind of have a mystery problem here of what we need to multiply by, right? We've already multiplied by 2. What else do I need to multiply by to complete the recipe here? And it looks like I need to multiply over here by 3 to get up to 12. So the answer is 3 cups of vinegar, which you could see if those are in cups. That's kind of like the visual arrangement of what's happening when we deal with 12 cups of sauce in total, if you were to label those. Okay. Get rid of that. So, next question. If the ratio 2/3 to 3/2 is equivalent to the ratio b over 9 to a over 6, what is the value of a plus b? Is it 6, 9, 12, or 15? Okay. So again, this problem says if the ratio 2/3 to 3/2 is equivalent to the ratio b over 9 to a over 6, what's the value of a plus b? So I don't want to stray too far from the methods that I used in the last question, because those are very good methods. So if I look at this new ratio, the only negative about it is that it's fractions now. And they want us to like get a new ratio, but it's got like a lot of restrictions. You see how the denominator now has to be 9, and this one needs to be 6? Well, that's kind of giving us a hint of what we need to either multiply or divide by to get the equivalent ratio or equivalent fraction. So what do you think? How do we go from the top to the bottom, yet we still have a little bit of flexibility too, because we don't really know the numerators? But this is a multiple choice question, so it has to be one of the options. So that's going to restrict us as well. Let me show you why. So it's really clear that this 3 goes to the 9 and the 2 goes to the 6. So it looks like the denominator is getting multiplied by 3. So if we multiplied by 1/3, you would get a 2 and a 3 kind of like this. And those ratios would be equivalent. They would represent the same scenario. However, the answer a plus b is, in this case, 5, which is not one of the answer choices. So we're going to have to go back to the drawing board, and it must not be 1 up here. Maybe it's something else. Maybe, for example, it's 2, or maybe it's 3, or 4, or 6, or 9. We don't really know. But we know that the test makers are not going to give us a question that's going to take a long time. And we know that when they use the word equivalent, maybe it could give us a hint that they're trying to force us to make these fractions equivalent. It's just a thought, but if those fractions were just identical, then of course the ratios would be the same because they would use the same numbers. So if I make this a 3/3, let's just see what happens. Let's see if we get one of the answer choices. So this would be 6/9, and this would be 9/6. And if this is our answer, then a plus b, which is the number here and the number here added together, is 15. And it's pretty hard to deny that this is the answer, because 6/9 is 2/3. And 9/6 is 3/2. So this question is trying to confuse simplifying fractions with ratios. So it's a very intentional question to try and lock you up. But just don't lose sight of the fact that these denominators definitely are multiplied by 3, and the idea that maybe we could just scale up the numerators by 3 as well. And that would be a guaranteed ratio, because it's basically like multiplying both sides by 1, isn't it? Okay, so kind of a tricky question, because normally we do scale a ratio up by like doubling it or multiplying it by 6 or 3 like we did up here. But just keep at it. I'll touch base with you here in a few months So good luck, you guys.